So, welcome back to the Boardgames 4K YouTube channel, and this is a channel where we give you reviews, playthroughs, unboxings, and we generally talk a lot of bollocks about tabletop gaming in general. And in this video, we're going to be talking about a 2016 Eric Land game, Blood Rage. This is a Viking themed, dudes on the map, area controlled card drafting game that sees you draft cards initially and then play cards to put monsters on the board, move your troops around, complete quests, and get enough victory points to make you the winner of Blood Rage. And in this video, we're going to be giving you a very, very brief overview of the rules. We'll be telling you what we do like, what we don't like, and then we'll come back and we will tell you whether or not Blood Rage is still worth playing 3 years after its initial release, and whether or not any other games have superseded this one and are better than this one. So if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to this channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you after this. Boardgames 4K. So, Blood Rage. How'd you play this game? So the first phase of this game is the God's Gift phase, and in this phase you'll be drafting cards from one of 3 decks, depending on what round it is. And then you'll be drafting cards from these decks, drafting them into your hand until you've only got 2 cards remaining in your hand. And there's different types of cards. You've got clan upgrades that allow you to put special abilities onto clans. You've got quests that you can complete, which will give you victory points at the end of the game. You've got leaders that you can place on your player board that will give you even more special abilities. And then you've got monsters that you can dump onto the board in order to wreak havoc on your opponents. You'll set your rage counter to the value of your current rage. What rage is basically gives you action points that will allow you to take different types of actions on your turn. So if you haven't got any rage points, you won't be able to take any actions in this phase, and you'll continue to take actions until everybody has 0 rage points. Right? So some of the actions you can do on your turn, you can invade, and what you'll do, you'll pay rage equal to the figure's strength value, and then you'll be able to place it onto the board. So invading is a way of your figures from your personal supply onto the board. So the second action that you can take is you can march, and this is a way of moving figures from province to province. So you'll pay 1 rage, and then you will move any one of your figures from one province into an empty village in another province. So the next thing you can do is play an upgrade card. And what you'll do, you'll pay the rage cost of the card, and then you'll place it in the appropriate spot. So you may be able to upgrade your leader, you may be able to upgrade your ship, or you may be able to upgrade your monsters and all that sort of stuff. So another thing that you could do, you can play a quest card. And these quest cards, these are the green cards. You'll play a quest card face down onto your clan sheet, and then that means you are committed to completing this quest. And at the end of the game, you'll go through all these and you'll get victory points for the quests that you have completed successfully, right? So some of the quests you may come across are, you may have Glorious Death, where you have at least 4 figures in Valhalla before the Ragnarok phase occurs. You may want to play the Yggdrasil quest, where you have the most strength in Yggdrasil at the end of the round. Or you may have the Mannheim quest, where you have the most strength in the Yellow Province, right? So these quest cards are exceptionally lucrative, but if you don't complete them, you may run into serious trouble at the end of the game. Okay. So another thing that you can do on your turn is you can pillage, and this is a way of having a good old-fashioned Viking scrap. So you don't have to pay any rage to pillage, which makes it that little bit more attractive, right? So what you'll do, you'll choose one of the provinces that you've got one of your figures in, you announce to your opponents that you're going to pillage, and then anyone who's got any clans that are adjacent to the location you are going to pillage get the opportunity to move their clans into that location. And then what you'll do, you'll look at your hand of cards, you'll choose 1 card to play. It could be any card, but you're really going to be wanting to play these red battle cards, and then you'll place it face down, and everyone will reveal simultaneously. So you'll add any strength bonus to your figure's total strength, and that includes any monsters, and then the player with the most strength will win the tie. So if you're the one instigating the pillage, you'll take the pillage token, and if you lost, all of your figures are destroyed and they'll go to Valhalla. Right, so Like we said, once everybody's run out of rage points and you'll discard down to one card, you'll be able to keep one card from the current phase and take it over into the next phase. And then what you'll do, you'll reveal and resolve all of the quest cards that you've got on your player mat, and then you'll move on to the Ragnarok phase, and this is where shit happens. So in the Ragnarok phase, what you'll be doing, you'll be destroying one of the 3 doomed provinces, and one random province in each phase is going to be determined to be doomed during the Ragnarok phase. And what you'll do, you'll place a marker on the board in that province, and all figures in that province will be destroyed and sent to Valhalla. But you will get points for any players that are destroyed in the Ragnarok phase, because Vikings do believe that it's a good idea to get your ass kicked and get yourself killed at the end of a round, right? So then what you'll do, you'll flip all the pillage tokens up and you'll pass the first player token, and then you'll keep doing this for 3 phases, and then you'll get victory points depending on how far up your stats are and whether or not you've reached the legendary status. You'll keep doing this until the end of round 3, and whoever's got the most victory points, glory points, or whatever points is the winner of Blood Rage. So we've said it before and we're going to say it again, but card drafting is without doubt one of our favourite mechanisms of all board games, and it works really well in this because you're drafting 8 cards. You're always going to get probably at least half your cards are going to be pretty decent, right? And there's also a vast array of cards. Not only have you got battle cards that you can do, you've got the monsters that you're going to be able to bring out, you've got quests that you can complete, and you've got a whole host of cards that are going to come out. And obviously, where this is a 3-round game, the cards get progressively better and better and better as the game progresses, and we love that. So the next thing that we really like about this is the fact the game introduces some fantastic monsters into the mix, and you might have the wonderful fire giant, which when it invades a province destroys all enemy non-monster figures in it, right? That's massive. Or you might have the sea serpent, which counts as an extra ship, but it's got like a strength of 3, and that's absolutely huge. But then you've also got to remember that there's some less visually appealing, less imposing monsters in here, like the Soldiers of Hell, which cost no rage to upgrade or invade, but have got a 3 strength, right? So not only have you got those really, really visually impressive miniatures that are on the board, and they make the game look absolutely astonishing, but you've also got some really, really powerful abilities lurking in those 3 decks. So the next thing that we really like about this is the quest cards lead to something that we like in any game whenever it appears, right? That is hidden scoring. It's the fact that you've got the scoring that takes place immediately when you get it, right? So you might get sort of victory points from various sources immediately, and you can see on the board how many victory points you've got. But the quest cards, where they're placed face down, you don't know whether or not your opponents have completed them quests or not. One of the twists with this game that's absolutely fascinating is the fact that some of the quests give you victory points for actually losing battles. So when you're involved in a battle with somebody, their main objective in the battle may be to actually get their ass kicked, right? So that's amazing. We really, really like that. We like the clever use of different victory conditions and the counterintuitive nature of some of the quest cards. That's awesome. So what don't we like about Blood Rage? So the first thing that we don't really like about Blood Rage is that with 5 players, it doesn't really work. And we picked up the 5-player expansion for this, and it makes things too crowded. It means that there's going to be too much competition for villages, and there's going to be too much competition for victory points, and it doesn't really work. But obviously it's optional because the game is 2 to 4 players out of the box. So whilst it's good to have an extra player count, again, it don't really work. Eric Lang is well known for borrowing, so to speak, ideas from other games. Well, so you've got the card play that you've got from El Grande, where you're playing cards to allow you to do stuff, to manipulate your pieces on the board. And then you've got the card drafting mechanism that you've got from Seven Wonders. So you'll be drafting cards and then playing cards to amass victory points, right? So yeah, that's a bit of a rip-off of that one. And also, you've got the monsters that you first sort of saw appear in games like Cyclades and Kemet. So it's a bit of a mishmash and a bit of, should we say plagiarism? I'm not going to say plagiarism, but it's a bit of a mishmash of other games. So just bear that in mind when you're playing Blood Rage. So another problem we got with Blood Rage is that a lot of the time that we played this game lots and lots and lots, and a lot of the times we played it, there's this problem with what we call the Kingmaker, and sometimes when you win this game, it's not dependent on what you actually do. It's not your skills or your strategy that wins you the game, but it's other players choosing whether or not they're going to support you, or whether or not they're going to stab somebody else in the back. So that's, I wouldn't say it's a major problem with this game, but it is a problem because it does occur more often than not, right? So to summarise, is Blood Rage still worth playing 3 years after its initial release? And is there anything better that's come after this that you should be playing instead of this? So Blood Rage, this is a wonderful area control game, right? That's got some really interesting choices and innovative mechanisms, and it's bolstered with the inclusion of those absolutely wonderful monster miniatures that give you these really powerful game-breaking opportunities to run in and steal victory. It takes the best bits from a lot of your other favourite games, like we said, Seven Wonders, El Grande. It takes elements from that, and it gives you the opportunity to play a game with all of your favourite elements, but you don't have to play one game after another, right? So rather than play Seven Wonders, rather than play El Grande separately, you can scratch the same itch by playing Blood Rage. That's not to say it doesn't have its glaring flaws. You've got the problem with a Kingmaker where someone who knows that they can't win the game is going to side with a certain player just to bring down another player, and that means that it's not necessarily your strategy that's going to win you the game. And there's also the problem with some of the monsters being overpowered and some being underpowered. So if you were unlucky enough during the draft to get those crappy monsters, or the monsters that aren't really going to suit the strategy that you've already started to develop, then that's going to be a bit of a problem for you. As for games that may have superseded this, obviously its long lost cousin Rising Sun sort of takes the same sort of thing and it betters it. We think that Rising Sun is a better game than this, and it shows, because it seems to us like Eric Lang has taken the ideas from Blood Rage, gone away, sat on them for a little bit, slept on it, had a couple of beers, and then come back and then decided that he's ironed out all the wrinkles, because Rising Sun is generally a better game. It's still got the wonderful miniatures in there, but it's got the added bonuses of the alliances that you can break, and also the wonderful combat system that, again, borrows from games like Cry Havoc. But we're not here to talk about, we're here to talk about Blood Rage. We're going to give this game 4 out of 5 because it's still fun, even though there are some sort of major problems with this game. We're going to give it 4 out of 5, even though there's some major problems with this game. Those problems don't really tend to arise until you played this game multiple times, right? For the first few games, you're not really going to notice that there's these glaring flaws in this game. So yeah, that's Blood Rage. So remember, if you're new here, then please consider subscribing to our channel. Leave a comment in that section down below, and we'll see you next time.